Ottima risposta di pubblico e io sono Fabio Benfenati dell'Istituto Italiano di Tecnologia e vi do il benvenuto a nome del Consiglio Scientifico del Festival della Scienza. L'appuntamento di questa sera è un nuovo approccio alla rigenerazione del cervello, è un dialogo, una tavola rotonda con Pietro Calissano, Shai Efrati e Viviana Kasam che vi verranno introdotti da Sofia Rossi dell'Istituto Montale. Un'altra presenza che abbiamo sono gli studenti dell'Istituto ISIA di Urbino, istituto di grafica, che faranno una rappresentazione grafica degli argomenti che verranno trattati in questo dialogo. Va bene, passo la parola a Sofia.
Grazie. Buonasera a tutti. Questa sera ho l'onore di presentarvi Shai Efrati, che è il direttore del Sagol Center for Hyperbaric Medicine and Research di Tel Aviv, e Pietro Calissano, che è un neurobiologo dell'European Brain Research Institute a Levi-Montalcini, e la moderatrice Viviana Kasam, che è una giornalista e fondatrice dell'associazione no profit Brain Cycle in Italia, che creò questa associazione con la scienziata Rita Levi-Montalcini per divulgare al pubblico e soprattutto ai giovani in particolar modo la ricerca sul cervello, ed è proprio anche questo il tema di questa conferenza di stasera, che grazie all'ossigenoterapia iperbarica ci approfondisce la ricerca sul cervello e soprattutto la rigenerazione del cervello. E penso che questo sia un tema che interessa tanto a noi giovani, che molto spesso non siamo molto informati, quindi vi auguro un buon ascolto e grazie.
Scusateci un attimo, abbiamo un problema con la traduzione simultanea del professore Efrati. Vediamo se adesso riesce a sentire. Ok? Yeah. Ok, bene, allora buonasera a tutti. Stasera parliamo di un argomento che credo sia estremamente interessante per tutti, la rigenerazione del cervello. Rigenerazione, che si chiama anche plasticità in termini più tecnici, è che è la possibilità per i neuroni di rinascere e ricostituirsi. Noi abbiamo tutti imparato, penso già a scuola o comunque dalla divulgazione scientifica, che i neuroni una volta morti non rinascono più, non ci sono nuovi neuroni che si producono. Nasciamo con una quantità straordinaria di neuroni che poi perdiamo via via fin dai primissimi giorni di vita, perché poi moltissimi sono inutili, quelli che non vengono usati se ne vanno, ed è una fortuna, se no avremmo un cervello sovraccarico quando siamo bambini. Più invecchiamo però, più perdiamo neuroni, e da lì poi vengono una serie di problemi, di memoria, di malattie, eccetera, che sono dovuti proprio alla morte dei neuroni. Allora, una dei campi di studio ovviamente più interessanti e su cui moltissimi centri di ricerca si stanno concentrando è la possibilità per i neuroni di rinascere e di rigenerarsi. Il professore Efrati, che è qui da Tel Aviv, è uno degli ospiti all'interno di questo scambio fra Israele, il Festival della Scienza, e Genova, ha inventato un nuovo sistema che utilizza però con un protocollo particolare l'ossigeno iperbarico. È partito dall'idea di curare delle lesioni dei rami del cervello, ma si è accorto anche che questa terapia aiuta a ringiovanire il cervello, a renderlo più efficiente, e aiuta la nascita di nuovi neuroni e comunque i collegamenti sinaptici tra i neuroni esistenti. Allora, la cosa che vi voglio dire è che quello che ascolterete è assolutamente affascinante ed è estremamente innovativo. Come tutte le terapie innovative è anche controversa, in quanto molti sostengono che è la strada del futuro, altri sostengono che in questo momento manca ancora il follow-up a lungo termine per capire se veramente può essere una strada che ci porta a dei risultati permanenti. Lo dico perché secondo me è sempre meglio essere prudenti e quindi voi stessi poi deciderete per voi quello che pensate di questo tipo di terapia, ma comunque io sono molto felice di avere qui Shai Efrati, credo che sia la prima volta che parla in Italia, quindi è una novità assoluta. Shai è il direttore del Sagol Center for Hyperbaric Medicine and Research al Asaf Harofeh Medical Center in Israele, è direttore di ricerca e sviluppo dello stesso centro e professore nella scuola di medicina e del Sagol School of Neuroscience di Tel Aviv ed è anche direttore della Società Israeliana di Medicina Iperbarica. Vorrei dire due parole perché abbiamo il piacere e l'onore di avere con noi questa sera Sami e Tova Sagol, che sono i fondatori di questo centro. Sami è un grande industriale israeliano e ha deciso per la seconda parte della sua vita di dedicarsi al sostegno della ricerca sul cervello e ha creato una serie di centri in Israele, un network di centri che lavorano con tutte le principali università con l'idea di creare un sistema paese in Israele per promuovere e incentivare le neuroscienze. In Israele, e questo penso che vi interessi, visto che qui si parla anche proprio dello scambio, delle ragioni del successo di Israele nel campo della tecnologia e della ricerca, in Israele c'è una fortissima collaborazione tra pubblico e privato, che in Italia praticamente non esiste. E quindi i benefattori privati hanno la possibilità di sostenere, fondare centri e collaborare attivamente con le università e questo è una anche delle ragioni per le quali Israele poi ha un investimento così alto in ricerca e sviluppo, quasi il 5% del PIL rispetto all'Europa che arriva a 1,95 e quindi questo è dovuto non solo a soldi pubblici ma anche a un grande afflusso di soldi privati. Bene, allora io a questo punto do subito la parola a Shai Efrati e prima però vi voglio presentare il professor Pietro Calissano, che è stato per 40 anni il più stretto collaboratore di Rita Levi-Montalcini e quindi ha partecipato a tutta la ricerca e allo sviluppo dell'NGF, il Nerve Growth Factor, che è appunto la molecola che aiuta la rigenerazione del cervello. Quindi questo è un argomento che Pietro conosce molto bene e dopo che Shai ci avrà raccontato quello che fa, Pietro lo commenterà e farà delle domande. Bene, Shai, is your turn.
Hello to everybody. I will start by saying that it's a great honor for me to be in Italy. And it's a great honor to give a lecture in such an amazing place. I don't know if you can concentrate on the lecture because the surrounding is amazing. It's just amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So I understand that some of the people over here are coming from science, are neuroscience. Some of the people over here are, let's say, public science. And some of you need translation to Italy, so I will try to do things in a simple way, okay, to simplify things. And if at a later stage we can go into more details. So a couple of years ago, Sami, who is sitting here, came to me with a challenge. He said, I want to rejuvenate the brain. It's a wish. This is something that we all want. And when you want to tackle a problem, and I'm doing mainly physiology, I enjoy doing physiology. And when you come to think about it, you have to have a certain viewpoint on the problem, And once the problem is clear to you, you should look for the bottleneck that prevent process from happening, and then you attack the bottleneck one by one. And in order for us to understand what the problem is, we should look at this slide. Here on the right side, you are looking at the universe. On the left side, this is a whole universe that we have in our brain. This is a single neuron. And look how similar it is. And you can understand how complicated it is. And when you are looking at it, the first thing that comes to you is humility. You have to feel that you are very small and you mostly don't know. This is type of the thing we have to keep in mind all the time in medicine. We are here in Italy. All the beginning of medicine came from here, from Italy. And when we have started, not only from here, of course. There are people in the crowd probably coming from other locations. From Greece, of course. And when we have started medicine in general, we have, first of all, started by opening people. And when we look at the people, we saw muscles, we saw bones, we saw the heart, we saw the lungs. And then we said, now everything is clear. We can cure all diseases. And suddenly we have a microscope, and a new world came up to us. And then we said, oh, now everything is clear, because we see the cells, and we will cure all diseases. And then we have DNA. And then we have the basic molecules in nature, which is, of course, the atom. And what do we have in the atom? We have protons, neurons, electrons, but mostly what? Nothing. We call it nothing. You are looking at 99% of emptiness, of nothing. Is it nothing? No. There's a lot of things inside, but we just don't have the ability to see it. So when we are approaching this type of problem, what we ask ourselves, we are saying from ahead, the system is too complicated. We cannot attack it at one location. But what we need to do is that we need to simplify it. We need to see the whole tissue. And by trying to simplify it, we will not get into each of these. Some of the researchers are focused on the blood vessels. Some of the researchers are focused on neurons, on neurotransmitter, on different growth factor. And every neuroscience thinks that that's the way it is. Our approach is to look at the tissue. We have a tissue. The tissue have certain needs. And maybe if we can bring these needs, good things may happen, even though we don't understand exactly all the things that are going on. And in order to simplify it for you, even more than that, we should look on this slide. Let's start from that side. Sorry if it's hard for some of the people to look at it, but it's important. If we are looking at this type of wounds, what we can say that this tissue is necrotic. Surrounding this tissue, over here, this tissue, if we will bring good oxygenation, stem cells, and angiogenesis will be enabled, this tissue will heal. We don't understand exactly. We know a lot about the healing process, but we don't understand everything. But we know what we need to do in order to make this wound heal, and we know that this tissue is lost. What's that? The same thing. We have a wound. We can see a necrotic tissue in the center of the wound, which is a lost tissue. But the surrounding tissue, if we will bring good oxygenation, stem cells, and enable the angiogenesis, generation of new blood vessels, it might cure, not the necrotic side. What is the main difference between that wound and that wound? The main difference is that this wound we see. We understand what we are dealing with. We smell it. It's visualized. We can sense it. And this is something that, we can look at the MRI. This is high-tech. We are looking at MRI. We are looking at CT. We are speaking about the brain in a mystic fashion. We are saying cognitive, personality, memory. It's a tissue and should be simplified as a tissue as we approach this one. And this is the big message of what we are doing, and now we can go into more details. We can see over here in this slide, this is a colleague of us from Weizmann Institute. She's doing an amazing thing. Okay, I hope she will get one day the Nobel Prize. Her name is Michal Schwartz. And what we see over here, this is a wound and a wound care process. And this is another wound, which is in the brain. I will not go into the different details, but the general perspective is there are a lot of similarities between these two wounds. The similarities go higher if we are speaking about the wounds that are non-healed. So what do we need in order to heal wounds or to treat the wounds appropriately? There are several basic things that we need. The first thing is oxygen. Okay? It's quite clear that if we don't have oxygen, there will be nothing. If you want to check this, you can stop the blood flow to the hands, no oxygen supply, and see what happens. The other thing that we need is that we need trigger for the healing processes, because biology is lazy. Our body is lazy. He will not do anything unless he have to. Another thing is stem cells. We will speak about this all, and generation of new blood vessels. These are the basics that we need for any wounds, no matter where the wound is. But we are dealing with a certain location, which is up here, the brain. With respect to the first part, the energy, the brain is an amazing organ. It's up here. It's 5% of our total body weight, in some less, but let's say in general. And this part utilized something like 20% of the cardiac output, 25% of the total energy consumption in our body. By the way, in pediatric population, even more, 25% of the glucose consumption, meaning that the best way to do a diet is to think some more, okay? That's the best way to have a diet. And this brain over here, all the time, utilize all the energy that is being supplied. And what the brain is doing differentiation, meaning if I'm moving the hand, the brain will take blood from certain areas and take the flow to the part that is responsible for the hand movement. If it's the leg, the leg. We use it when we are doing functional MRI. We ask the patient to do something, and we see where the blood flow is going. And if we need to do, you can feel it on your daily routine when you need to do multitasking, meaning if you are speaking on the cellular phone, not you, me, if I'm speaking on the cellular phone, I will miss a turn. Okay, why is that? Because this is a physiological limitation. You can try to do motor function together with cognitive function, and you will see that it's a limit. Now, we wanted to know, first of all, whether oxygen is a rate-limiting factor for healthy individuals, not for sick, at healthy condition. And for doing that, we took students of neuropsychology, which are considered to be relatively smart. We put them in a capsule, we call it hyperbaric chamber, and there we can play with the oxygen. We can increase it as much as we want, we can decrease it, and we gave them to do multitasking. And what you can see over here, and you can see that when we are giving more oxygen, the performance, even of healthy individual, is better. It means that oxygen is a rate limiting factor for brain activity, even at healthy individual, healthy brain, fully functioning brain. Think what happened when there is an injury to the brain. When you want to understand general what happened, there are some people that are crazy enough to live in such a high altitude. And when you are going to such a high altitude, it means that your oxygenation, the pressure is lower. And since the pressure is lower, the oxygen is lower. And generally analyzing this population, you see that people that are living above 2,500 meters, the mortality of stroke, when they have over there, the mortality rates reach 40%, which is huge. Okay? Even if they have the best hospital in the area. We can challenge that, of course, with animal study, because in human beings, we are not taking the oxygen off when they have the stroke. But if we are taking pigs and things like that, you are decreasing the oxygen, you see, and you generate a stroke. You see that it's decreasing. In order to play with the oxygen, we are using hyperbaric chamber. Why is that? Oxygen is a gas, and the molecule of the gas move freely in the air. So if we want to give more oxygen, think that there is a balloon over here, and you have more oxygen, more molecules inside of gas, no matter what the gas is. The molecules are moving all the time. We will measure that as pressure. But what the pressure tells us, it tells us that there are currently more molecules inside. And by taking people into that, and this is our center in Israel, by taking people into that, we can play with the oxygen as much as we want. This is my playground, okay? I can play with physiology, it's a lot of fun. You are welcome to join me, okay? To learn what happened in the brain during injury, the best use is with this patient. Patient that have severe traumatic brain injury. Why severe traumatic brain injury? Because in patients with severe traumatic brain injury, we have the license to attack them directly. What do I mean by that? They have catheters in the brain, not because of me, because they need the catheter. And we can use that catheter in order to measure exactly what happened in the brain, in the human brain. And this is an example of patients that have severe traumatic brain injury. And these people are being taken into the chamber, and we are measuring the tissue oxygenation in the brain. We can see that when we are giving them normal air, this is the baseline stay the same. When we are giving normal oxygen, an increase and decrease. And when we are giving hyperbaric, only 1.5 atmosphere, you can see that there is a decrease, but the decrease persists 8 hours even after they are going out of the chamber. So you can say, okay, you are very smart, you are giving more oxygen, so the more oxygen in the tissue. So what? Was this oxygen a rate limiting factor for something? And in order to know that, we are measuring the metabolic activity in this patient. And what you can see clearly is when they are going into the chamber, there is a fast increase in all the metabolism. It means that it was indeed a rate limiting factor. It's like somebody who is going in the desert, doesn't have nothing to drink, starts to go in circle, and then you suddenly give him water and he can run again. Now, different researchers group in different institutes are working on the effect on hyperbaric oxygen in the brain. And each group is focusing on something. For example, there is a group that work on the blood-brain barrier. And they see when you are taking somebody into hyperbaric environment, the blood-brain barrier is improving. Some of them work on certain channels and other locations. But what we actually have is this. It was a limiting factor, and when you are opening this limiting factor, a lot of things can happen. It's an elephant. Each of the researchers is focusing on something, but it's an elephant. We are bringing more energy. A lot of things can happen. Hope I didn't lose you till now, at least not with the elephant. The other thing that we need a trigger. Now, the best trigger for rejuvenating process is hypoxia, is lack of oxygen. So if we want to trigger the mediators that are responsible for regenerative process, for example, the hypoxic-induced factor, it's a transcriptor factor, meaning when it's going out, a lot of genes will be expressed. So if we want to generate HIF, we can take a person, hold his breath, stop his heartbeat, and we will have increase in HIF. But it's not healthy. But what the body actually senses and what we sense as human beings, it's not an absolute value. There is no absolute value in nature. Everything is relative. Meaning, if I'm very rich and my neighbor will have more than me, I will feel that I don't have enough, no matter how much I have. And if I'm in the desert and I have some water and my colleague doesn't have, I will feel very fortunate that I have this. So everything is relative, and we are decided to take an advantage of this. What we are doing, we are increasing the oxygen to very, very high level, and then we are doing a sharp decline back to normal. And this delta from very high to normal is being interpreted by the body as hypoxia, without hypoxia. We call it the hyperoxic-hypoxic paradox. We are generating all the things that happen during hypoxia with hyperoxia. And that can be seen on cell culture, that we expose them to hyperoxia and then back to normal. You can see the increase in HIF. And we can see it also on brain tissue by doing the same thing. And of course that when HIF is being increased, there is a down cascade of a lot of genes that are being expressed. So we can do that. Another important thing is stem cells. What are stem cells? Whoever created us, and I'm feeling honored to say it in this location, created this machine not for 1 or 2 days. He created it for a period. We want to prolong this period, but he generated this one for a period. And he knew that along the way, there will be problems. What he didn't know is what the problem will be. So instead of giving us repairs, he gave us 3-dimensional printer. And these are the stem cells. We have cells that are located mostly in the bone marrow, but not only there. It happens to be in other tissue in our body. Cells that can differentiate into the different tissue that we have in our body. Actually, if you are looking at me, it was generated from 2 stem cells that were differentiated into all of me. Okay, so this is the classical stem cell. But we have it in our body, and in order to rejuvenate a bone, we need the stem cells. How we can generate a stem cell? The stem cells are going up when there is a problem. Problem is hypoxia. We are doing like hypoxia. So the stem cells may go up. And as you can see over here, these are people that are coming for consecutive treatment in our center. And you can see these are mesenchymal stem cells. Mesenchymal stem cells are stem cells that we usually have only in the tissue. And we measure them in the blood. And you can see that after certain protocol that we are using, there is a dramatic increase in the mesenchymal stem cells that we measure in the blood, because we don't take human tissue out yet. The same thing may happen in the brain, and again, we are using the hyperoxic-hypoxic paradox that we spoke about. So what do we have? We know how to achieve the energy, the trigger, the stem cells, but in order to make a real change, we need to change the environment. We need angiogenesis. We need generation of new blood vessels, because that was the major problem at the beginning. For angiogenesis, we need a basic. we need trigger of hypoxia, we need stem cells, and angiogenesis will happen. And that's what's going over here. We know how to do it. And here you can see in a tissue, this is unfortunately rat and mice, because over there we can take the tissue out. We can see the generation of new blood vessels. In human beings, we are using perfusion MRI. We have the ability today to use high-tech technology that we can look at the blood flow in the small blood vessels in the brain. And up here you can see before treatment, after treatment, and the bottom row represent the delta, the difference between post to pre, everything that is red, and it's more than 50% improvement. It means that we can actually see angiogenesis in the human brain, which is extremely exciting for somebody like me. So we spoke about it. And our next question is, how do we choose the optimal wound in the brain that will be suitable for the treatment? Because if we have necrotic tissue, we say that it's lost. We cannot help it. And we need to choose the appropriate tissue for that, and we need to set the expectation with the patient that's sitting in front of us to try to predict what will happen to him. In order to do that, what we have developed is a method where we are combining two technologies together. One of the technologies enable us to see the anatomy of the brain, the structure of the brain. And where we see a structural damage, it means that it's a lost tissue. We cannot help. On top of it, we are adding metabolic imaging of the brain, where we can actually see the activity in the neurons. And we combine it together, and we are generating this score. Blue is necrotic, green malfunctioning, yellow and red are good functioning. And what you can see over here, you can see a necrotic tissue. The necrotic tissue doesn't change, it stays the same. Surrounding this necrotic tissue, you can see the green become yellow-red. And whatever this part of the brain responsible to, that will be the part that will improve clinically. For example, if we are looking at this patient, she had a stroke. She couldn't move the hand. She was paralyzed and couldn't speak. She had aphasia. We call it aphasia. Unable to speak. And if we are looking at this is the part responsible for the hand movement. You can see that it's green. It's not blue. It's not necrotic. This is before treatment and after treatment. The hand is not moving, and now it's moving. This is the Broca area. The Broca area responsible for our speaking capabilities. You can see that it's not working, and now it's working. And it's years after the acute injury. For us, it doesn't matter how much time have elapsed. It's matter what we see, because we are dealing with wounds. Another important thing, we are not treating the hand, we are not treating the leg, we are not treating the speaking capabilities. We are only treating this wound. That's what we are doing. We are doing wound care. As simple as that. Another interesting issue is the so-called concussion. I will say a word about it. What happened in concussion is traumatic brain injury. For example, somebody is driving the car, and then you have car accident. What happened to the brain is moving up like this, right? Now, in the brain, we have two tissues. We have cortex, and we have medulla, the bottom. Different mass of each. So if there is, there's a lot, I hope you will cheer for me at the end also. Harder than them, yeah? We need to bypass them. We need to do it better. So if you are looking at the cortex on the medulla, there is a force on it. They will move in a different velocity. If they are moving in a different velocity, the small blood vessels in between can tear down. And once this is happening, we have a problem with oxygen supply, so the wound will not heal. Now, usually this person have cognitive impairment, and the anatomical imaging looks normal. And if a patient like this is a 51-year-old woman, she was a professor in the university. After the car accident she had, she couldn't read, or more exactly, to remember what she read. And she was a lecturer in the university. Of course, she's going to the physician. The physician is doing MRI. The MRI is normal. What the physician is telling her? I'm a physician, so I can laugh on myself as much as I want, okay? What we say to the patient if we don't see anything in the MRI? You're normal, you don't have anything. Instead of saying, I'm stupid, I don't know how to recognize the problem, I'm saying, you are normal, go home. But if we are doing metabolic imaging, we see the problem. You can see it here, okay? This is the orbitofrontal temporal lobe. You see the green, and the green become red. And these parts, in this case, are responsible for cognitive impairment, and then you can see the cognitive improvement. But we are not treating the cognitive. We are treating a tissue. Happens to be that this tissue is responsible for cognitive parts. An amazing thing we see today is we can use the MRI to do MRI DTI, and that enables us actually to look at the nerve fibers themselves. And when we are able to look at the nerve fibers, we can see an amazing thing. What's this? This is neurogenesis, generation of new neurons. I was taught in medical school that this thing cannot happen. Surprise, surprise, here they are. I will go now to the things that most of us will have, and I will say a few words about it. It's the so-called age-related cognitive decline. So what is this age-related cognitive decline? This is the epidemic that we, as a Western society, we are facing it now, and it's going to get bigger and bigger all the time. Because we know how to deal with the heart, we know how to deal with other problems, with infection, etc., etc. But the brain stays behind. So what we are starting to have as a Western society is a growing population of people that have beating hearts, with blood pressure, but no brain at all. We call it at the end dementia or Alzheimer or whatever it is. But at the end, it starts with a short decline. Mostly it starts with a short memory. Remind me what your name was? And if you will go to your physician, not you, because everybody in the room is very young, but if I will go to my physician, I will tell him, my dear physician, I'm feeling that my cognitive, it's not the way that it used to be. I'm feeling that my memory is a little bit declining, especially the short memory. I remember what I was doing 20 years ago, but my short memory, it's not how it used to be. He will look at me, he will do like this, say, you know what, let's do an MRI. And looking at the MRI, over here you see an MRI of somebody who is 25 years old. And over here you see an MRI of a healthy, fully healthy, 75-year-old guy. You see the white patches over here? So with this regard, my physician will look at me and will tell me, my dear patient, you're not a patient because you are healthy, okay? My dear friend, you are fucked, but you are fucked according to your age, so this is normal. I don't know how to translate it to Italy. I hope it will be polite translation. Okay? But this is what it is. So there is an amazing study that was done in Cambridge. They took people who are supposed to be a sound over here, but we don't hear it. Healthy people, 75 years or older, healthy individual, and they have done to them an MRI on a weekly basis. By that, we can look at the brain like a movie. Look, first week, second week, whoops, tiny stroke. The people doesn't feel anything. Whoops, another tiny stroke. Not feeling anything. Whoops. You are looking now on a movie on aging. You see aging in front of you running. And it's important that you will see it. It's a matter of weeks. So that's aging. It's tiny stroke, and every time we have this tiny stroke, another tissue losing its oxygen supply and start to deteriorate. And when we are speaking about Alzheimer's disease or dementia, this is the end result in most cases from this process. And over here you can see the amyloid plaque. And today we understand that the amyloid plaque are not the cause of Alzheimer's. They are part of the process that happen along Alzheimer's. And in order to understand better whether we can address the different aspects of Alzheimer's disease, we are using animal models. Again, because it is hard to take the human brain out and see what's going on. So we took mice who are genetically engineered to develop Alzheimer's, meaning every week we know what happened to them. And in these mice, we can actually measure everything. We can look at the blood flow. We can mark the blood flow in specific location, and we can see the change. And as we said, we see a decrease in the blood flow, and measure it. But with the hyperbaric, we can generate, as we say, the angiogenesis. We are increasing HIF, stem cells, and angiogenesis may happen. So over here you see that we can reverse this process. We can reverse the hypoxia because new blood vessels were generated, and we can reverse all the inflammatory process that happen because of that. And then we can see that the amyloid plaque disappear. But the most amazing thing is this. We see neurogenesis. Again, by a simple fluctuate intervention that we are doing. With the fluctuation, with certain fluctuation we generate with the oxygen. So it's nice. So how can we get the needed mindset change? We don't want it to take 50 years. We want to do it faster. And in order to do things faster, I always ask myself, for example, you all have cellular phone, yeah? Why this technology is moving so fast, and on the other hand, medicine is moving, but it's moving very slow. Why is that? There are different reasons. One of the reasons, from our perspective, is that, for example, if we will take the cellular that she play with, means that I'm not interesting enough, okay? If you will take the cellular phone, for example, when you are going to buy a cellular phone, most of us don't go to the shop and ask the salesman, which type of cellular phone you suggest? Should I take iPhone? Should I take Samsung? Should I take something else? No. You are going and saying, I want Samsung, I want Note, I want Apple. Why is that? Because we have free access to the data in a way that we can understand it. Okay? I will look, for example, on the processor and the amount of memory. My daughter will look at the color and decide that it will fit her pocket. But everybody can look on what's interesting for him. On the other hand, what happens in medicine is that we have the data, we have the client, and in between we have a filter. The filter is me, is the physician. I can decide what I want to translate in one way, in how, and when. But I have agenda. Like the salesman, he has agenda. He may be making more money than from Samsung than from iPhone. So he will advise me to buy the Samsung. And in order to move faster, we need to make the data accessible for you. Not for the physician, also for the physician, but for you. Because you want to understand the data in a language that you understand. And this is what we are doing in a project that we call it the living brain. We are trying to make the brain visible to you in a way that you understand. For doing that, we are doing a combination of MRI and DTI and EEG with certain stimulation. This is not the topic of this lecture. But I will let you see, first of all, my brain. And it's supposed to be something that you understand. This is me, reconstruction of me from the MRI. And when we are looking at this, okay, we will try to take it layer by layer out and then see the brain. Okay, so this is me. And we will start taking it off, okay? This is my brain in a way that you can understand, in a three-dimensional structure. This is my sulci, this is my tissue. Looking at it, you understand it is a tissue. You don't need interpretation. But we want to see what's going on inside. We're making the brain glass. This is the activity in my brain. The fibers that you see inside are actually my fibers from the MRI DTI. And everybody can have a tour in his brain. You can go inside, take each bundle that you want, measure it, play with it. Everybody can have it on his cellular phone. So he can play, understand. You can touch different parts. It will tell you, now you are in the thalamus. It's responsible for that and that. This is the velocity that you have. At the end, we need it even more demonstrable, and we should let you see how your brain functions in one glass, okay? So this is the activity, and in order to see it in one glass, you can see colors. The blue and the green are good functioning tissue. Of course, we can give number to everything, but this is my brain. It's not so bad. It's getting better, but it's not bad. So this is me. Let's look now on a brain of somebody who had stroke. You can see the sulci are very wide, that we have lost a tissue. And over here you can see a dead tissue. It's a necrotic tissue. It's quite clear that this tissue cannot heal. So this is my brain activity, and this is the post-stroke. We don't need to speak. You see, you understand. This is my brain. This is the post-stroke. You can see the wound over here. In that way, I hope that everybody here understand what he sees in front of me. Let's look at another example. This is the same post-stroke patient before and after treatment. Before treatment, after treatment. We don't need to speak much, yeah? You see the difference. You see the increase in the activity, and we can measure that and let you see it visually. This is the wound that was cured, and you can understand it, you can see it. You don't need a physician to tell you some sophisticated word. This is my brain, before, after, as simple as that. Another example, let's look at an aging brain, normal so-called aging brain, with mild cognitive impairment. Look how it looks. You see that it's flat. There's already a lot of tissue that got lost. We are missing a lot of tissue. Look at the activity. My brain, the aging brain. This is aging. You see it. Clear. Now let's take this brain and treat him. And we can see before and after. Before treatment, after treatment. And again, we can have a tour inside. In your brain, everybody can have his brain, can look at it. You are moving in, you can see it, and you can see the before and after. By letting you see that, it makes, I hope, everything clearer to us, to the client. And I hope that by using this kind of visualization, it will be possible to bring this treatment sooner than the standard long period that it usually takes. And I hope it will enable us to learn more and more about how our aging functions. And the most important thing, I hope we can generate a dementia or Alzheimer-free community. Thank you very much, and I will stop over here.
Thank you. Dirò in italiano, you understand, you have the translation?
Just a minute.
Or
Yeah.
maybe I say it in English because everybody who needs get a translation. Can you tell us very shortly, number one, what is the protocol for your hyperbaric treatment, because you didn't say it? And number two, these images are fantastic, but what is the cost for a person to be able to get these images? Is it possible for everybody to get it, or is something very expensive? How can you get your brain? It seems very easy, but I imagine it's a long and expensive work.
I can speak, or should I speak with this? You hear me? Okay. Like you said in your presentation, what you see over here, it's still very, very new. It's not a standard hyperbaric oxygen protocol. It's a certain protocol that needs still to be optimized. And we are looking to optimize the patient per individual, because for us or for me, it doesn't matter what the general statistic is. What I'm interested in is, how about me? What is the optimal protocol to me? So currently in the studies that we are doing, it takes something like 3 months. It's a daily treatment, 2 hours per day, no matter what the pressure for this audience, but it's a certain protocol with fluctuation that generate all of this. It's new, and like anything new, it will take time, but I hope that in the very near future, we will be able to do it in other locations in the world, because the safety is generally very high, because we use it for wounds in the legs.
Okay. And we have a lot of hyperbaric chambers because they usually, used for divers. What is the difference between your hyperbaric chambers and the ones that are available in normal hospitals?
First of all, you have excellent physicians in Italy. Okay, some of my colleagues are from here in Italy. They are amazing. They're amazing. It's a new field. We are gathering the data now. We are doing the research. We are giving education to other physicians around the world. And people are hearing us, reading the articles. It will be optimized. And I hope that soon it will be over here. It's different with respect to the evaluation, to the exact protocol that is being used. And the more important thing is to decide who is suitable, yes or not. Because again, it's not suitable for all. We still have a lot of work to do. So it's important to select the ones that are suitable for this treatment.
But once a person is suitable, can you use an available hyperbaric chamber to do your treatment, or you need to build special chambers?
You need to do some adjustment to the protocol. The device itself, I will give you an example. If you are going to an operation, not you, somebody is going to operation, let's say cardiac surgery, okay? There are operator rooms all over the world, but you are going to a specific location because he knows how to best use it for your procedure, not yours, a certain patient procedures. And the other don't know, even though everybody has the equipment. So this is a process of education, of learning, of utilizing. And the advantage and disadvantage in oxygen is that there are no intellectual property over oxygen. So nobody makes a lot of money out of it. So this is an advantage, but this is also disadvantage because there is no financial interest in making it bigger and bigger and bigger. So if it was like this, then it was all over already. So we need people like Sagol, who are philanthropists, who are doing for the good of humanity in order to bring this forward, and it's coming forward.
Pietro, now your knowledge with the brain, you have heard this for the first time also. Will you tell us what you think about it and maybe make questions?
Am I supposed to speak
No,
in
no,
English?
parli in italiano.
Italiano, just a minute.
Funziona? Does it work? Funziona?
Quello vicino alla bocca.
Sì, sì, ok. Beh, prima di tutto, grazie Efrati. È veramente una splendida lezione, molto interessante. Io sono qui non per parlarvi delle nostre ricerche, quanto per fare qualche riflessione su questa wonder molecule che è l'ossigeno. Ossigeno che però ha anche dei suoi risvolti pericolosi. E io ho pensato di fare un brevissimo riassunto, non vi spaventate, in 5 minuti, della storia dell'ossigeno, partendo da 4 miliardi e mezzo di anni fa, quando la Terra si era formata, e nel giro di qualche miliardo si sono incominciati a formare i primi microrganismi che funzionavano in un sistema che si chiama anaerobico, cioè in mancanza di ossigeno. Tra l'altro è un inciso che faccio, può essere anche una riflessione che può interessare voi, nonostante ci siano stati dei progressi enormi nella biologia, nella biotecnologia, ancora oggi non si riesce a riprodurre in vitro far nascere una vita a partire da elementi non vitali come quelli capaci di replicare o di metabolizzare. Questa è una piccola riflessione che può essere interessante, prescindendo dall'ossigeno, ma che in qualche modo può essere interessante. Veniamo adesso, saltiamo di circa 2 miliardi e mezzo di anni e veniamo in quello che è stato il grande evento ossidativo. L'evento ossidativo mediato da cianobatteri, cioè piccoli batteri che cominciavano a formare ossigeno. Ma l'ossigeno è un elemento di per sé, i chimici me l'hanno insegnato, è un elemento estremamente reattivo. Per fare un esempio, tutti noi stiamo attenti che il gas che esce ma invada una stanza non sia attivato da una fiamma, perché in realtà quel metano che esce reagirebbe con l'ossigeno e ci sarebbe un'esplosione. Allora, come in qualche modo controllare da parte degli organismi viventi questa potenzialità enorme dell'ossigeno e a scopi invece vitali, quindi riproduzione e via di seguito. Qui viene una grande invenzione della natura, è diffondere degli elementi che avevano dei mitocondri. Vi risparmio le specifiche su questi mitocondri, sta di fatto soltanto che sono il frutto forse di batteri che sono fusi con piccole cellule e hanno portato le loro capacità. E quali sono le loro capacità? Sono quelle di utilizzare ossigeno e di utilizzare ossigeno convertendo gli elementi energetici, lo zucchero, grassi, di seguito, in qualche modo qualche sostanza utilizzabile senza dover fare, per così dire, vogliamo esagerare, esplodere l'ossigeno. Cioè i mitocondri sono quegli organelli che in qualche modo permettono questa trasformazione delle potenzialità dell'ossigeno e intervenendo con gli zuccheri di formare delle molecole estremamente utili, fondamentali per la vita di tutti gli organismi. Questa trasformazione si ottiene tramite i mitocondri e una catena respiratoria che piano piano converte questa possibilità dell'ossigeno in elementi che sono potenzialmente usabili. E di questi vorrei ricordare soltanto uno, che è fondamentale anche per l'attività dell'ossigeno, e che è una molecola che si chiama ATP, adenosin trifosfato. L'ATP è una molecola che è, a mio avviso, importante come il DNA, se ne parla poco, ma forse si pensa anche sia nata prima dello stesso DNA. La molecola è un donatore universale di energia, è una molecola, è una moneta spendibile in tutto il mondo. Ora, grazie a questa ATP, e grazie ovviamente che si è formato all'ossigeno, le cellule nervose possono in qualche modo operare nelle loro funzioni. Quando devono differenziarsi, crescere le fibre nervose, rigenerarsi, abbiamo visto rigenerarsi grazie a ATP. Fondamentale, secondo me, è il mandare e ricevere messaggi, il messaggio nervoso. Lei ha accennato giustamente che il cervello consuma 10 volte tanto quanto non consumi altre molecole, altre parti del cervello, quindi in qualche modo ha delle funzioni fondamentali. Ora, quindi fino adesso tutto bellissimo, l'ossigeno in qualche modo è una molecola fondamentale per tutte le funzioni vitali, principalmente quelle delle cellule nervose. Naturalmente, come in tutte le diciamo, seguendo una legge addirittura di Lavoisier, scusate, nulla si crea, nulla si distrugge, ma tutto si trasforma. Un 5-10% dell'ossigeno, come sa Shai, viene convertito e non è tutto utilizzato, viene convertito in radicali liberi. È una parola che tutti voi avete ascoltato, in inglese sono reactive oxygen species. Sono derivati dell'ossigeno estremamente tossici per l'organismo, estremamente tossici all'organismo. Ora, naturalmente, l'organismo e le cellule nervose principalmente hanno naturalmente dei sistemi per difendersi anche da questa piccola quantità di radicali che sono il prodotto di degrado dell'ossigeno stesso. E hanno quindi inventato dei sistemi che si chiamano dismutasi, e vi risparmio le terminologie, scusate, specifiche. Sta di fatto però ci sono questi sistemi che neutralizzano i radicali liberi. E tra l'altro, questo tutti voi avete contatti quotidiani con la reclamizzazione di antiossidanti, e cioè sostanze che dovrebbero servire a neutralizzare i radicali liberi. E di fatto un po' funzionano, però qui interviene un problema, perché un eccesso di antiossidanti può in qualche modo diminuire l'attività dei sistemi della cellula a neutralizzarli, e quindi in qualche modo bloccare il sistema endogeno che funziona per neutralizzare i radicali liberi. Quindi la sostanza è che l'ossigeno è una molecola meravigliosa, ma ha dei suoi risvolti ovviamente potenzialmente tossici e negativi. Io ho annotato alcune domande che volevo fare a Shai, che sono specifiche, poi dopo qua, e quindi in qualche modo adesso, se ho tempo, vogliamo sono un po' annotate qui. Mi sembra tra le più interessanti è questa del ruolo dell'ossigeno collegato con l'effetto placebo. Non mi è sfuggito in qualche modo come si collega l'effetto placebo, che di fatto ormai esiste, no? È una risposta farmacologica minima, ma è una risposta dell'organismo su un piano psicologico. Non mi è chiaro come in qualche modo pensate che funzioni in rapporto naturalmente all'ossigeno e l'utilizzo dell'ossigeno da parte delle cellule nervose. Io ne vado un secondo, poi dopo le lascio intanto la risposta. La seconda è collegata con l'effetto dell'ossigeno con la angiogenesi, perché ovviamente l'angiogenesi è un problema, è un evento fondamentale in generale per la rigenerazione di tutto l'organismo. Ma come sa Shai, ad esempio in certe patologie oculari, come nelle maculopatie, c'è un eccesso di angiogenesi che può provocare a un distacco della retina e quindi una malattia. Allora lì immagino che voi avete considerato il possibile pericolo di una esposizione iperbarica all'ossigeno, in considerazione del fatto che lì non si vuole stimolare la crescita di vasi sanguigni, ma si vuole in realtà inibire. Tanto è vero che adesso le cure più efficaci sono quelle che si basano sulla inibizione di questa crescita. Vi lascio adesso.
You hear me? Okay. I will try. I hope I understood by the translation what you said. But indeed, first of all, oxygen is very, very powerful molecule in nature. And like any other molecule that is very active, there can be side effects related to it. For example, I can take each healthy individual, expose him to a certain level of oxygen, meaning duration and pressure, and I will activate the brain in a way that he will have epileptic seizure, okay? For example, people who are diving with oxygen, pure oxygen, need to know exactly how much time they are in the water and for how much duration. So when I said, and when you ask, can it be spread all over the world immediately? The answer is no, because we are going very, very below the toxic level of oxygen. We know when we're starting to have the toxic effect, and we limit the exposure to a significant level below it, okay? So for example, every 20 minutes we are taking the mask off so it will go down. And that means that if somebody after this lecture wants to go home and buy some chamber home and go inside and sleep there overnight, don't do that. You need to do it in a controlled environment with a control protocol, because otherwise there will be side effect. And unfortunately today there are huge amount of chamber that you can buy from China and put them at home, etc., etc. So don't do that. You need to do it in an appropriate way. So this answers the different questions that are related to the side effect. Regarding how do you know that what you have is a real data, or somebody suddenly start to move his hand years after the acute insult, for that you are making a prospective clinical trial with a control group. The control group doesn't get the treatment group get the treatment. You are doing a combination of animal study together with human study to see the physiology and see that the physiology holds in human being. And this is a path we need to go through, and this is where we are now. We are doing it. So in the stroke study, it's a prospective randomized control. In the TBI, prospective randomized control. In children, we are doing that also, etc., etc. What you say that it is a challenge because you need to increase the pressure so people will feel the pressure in the ear. So that's a lot of technical issue related to that, but we will skip it. But you need to do prospective clinical trials in order to see the data and use as much as parameter that you can do for evaluation before and after to see the correlation between the different stuff. But again, the comment is very good. Don't buy chamber home and get into it. You need to do it in a controlled environment because oxygen is very powerful and can have toxic effect.
Grazie. Ci sono delle domande dal pubblico? Chi ha i microfoni? Sono le ragazze? No, ve lo passo io perché le nostre ragazze non so dove sono. Vado io. Allora, prima il signore che si è alzato, poi la signora, poi ce n'era un'altra qui anche. Domande brevi, per favore.
I have a curiosity. In the bone marrow, the stem cell likes the most low oxygen level possible. The question is, isn't the brain an architectural structure where stem cells live or prefer to live?
It's a very good question, and I want you to play God for a minute, okay? Let's say you are God, and you need the repair, the stem cells. You don't want the stem cell to die with the rest of the tissue, okay? They need to survive the insult. And in order to survive the insult, most insult in our body have an element of hypoxia, of lack of oxygen. So in order to make the stem cell, to make it possible for the stem cell to survive the insult, they can live in a relative hypoxic environment. But when I'm saying living there, they are living, they are not replicating. They are not active, okay? They just stay there. And we need the trigger to make them proliferate. And once you have the trigger and they start to proliferate, from this point on, now they need to walk. And if they need to walk, they need oxygen. So basic, you are right, the basic metabolism is very low oxygen, but in order to make them survive the acute insult. After that, you need them active, okay?
Salve, sono un fisico esperto di nanotecnologie. In normale appiso ho imparato a fare laser a cascata quantica e grazie alla collaborazione con Cambridge ho visto le potenzialità della radiazione in campo biomedico. Sono enormi. Per farvi un esempio, io ho incominciato per curiosità a guardare la biomedica e ho avuto l'idea di una sonda per la diagnosi precoce dei tumori della pelle, perché sono in grado di costruire radiazione a 1,5 terahertz. Per curiosità mi sono messa a studiare il folding e mesofolding delle proteine e sono in grado di costruire, se ho la possibilità di avere uno spettrometro di massa, quindi parliamo di 200.000 euro, di fare delle cose straordinarie. Mi trovo in Italia per motivi personali, mi chiamo Tonia Lusco, ho un sito che si chiama I Pazzi Arte
No,
e
mi
Scienze.
scusi, noi vogliamo delle domande
Molto
brevi e concise.
E qual è la domanda? Ho fatto questa cosa perché tutto è nato perché si è detto che qua c'è una ferita e qua c'è un cervello. Io non posso vedere dentro. Questo non è esatto. Noi possiamo costruire un microscopio al Teres, possiamo vedere le cellule in vivo e quindi c'è una bibliografia avviata. Quindi questo è importantissimo perché ci consente di fare un discorso diverso e di accelerare tutto quello che abbiamo visto. Complimenti per i 2 interventi che mi hanno dato qualcosa di veramente importante.
Grazie.
E un'altra cosa che vorrei fare, mi scusi la lunghezza della domanda, è stato importante far parlare artisti e scienziati. Dal 2013 abbiamo messo su un'associazione, appunto I Pazzi Arte e Scienze, che ho avuto modo di incontrare diverse persone, diversi settori, il professore Rasetti, Luca Bonfanti e tutto il resto, e quindi anche noi facciamo questo processo di far arrivare l'informazione del cervello alle persone e ci sta aiutando nella fase di collaborazione. Volevo sapere da lei se aveva mai sentito questa questione del Terez e quanto apporto può dare alla conoscenza sul cervello. Grazie.
What's the question?
Non abbiamo
Maybe the
sentito bene.
translation wasn't good.
Sì.
The question.
No, siccome è stata molto lunga questa domanda, lasciamo un attimo lo spazio a altre domande. Intanto lei viene qui e me lo dice, così glielo portiamo. Lasciamo altre persone, se no. Domande brevi, per favore.
Mi occupo, psicologo clinica, di sentimenti, quindi rabbia, invidia e magari qualche volta amore. Per quello che riguarda il suo discorso, quante volte ha visto persone con stroke per questi sentimenti?
Io non riesco a capire, non sentiamo bene.
That's excellent question, because you know physicians are being trained to ask the patient if he can move the hand, the leg, if he can speak. But usually physicians don't ask the patient, how is your mood? And the problem here, it's not with the patient, the problem is with the physician that are not educated to ask this. And if you do ask them, you suddenly find out that there is also mood disturbances because of the stroke. And the connection between the so-called body and soul, this is a topic for a different lecture, and I can speak about it for days, but then you will not go home or I will not fly back to Israel. So that's another topic which is extremely important, and we are investigating a lot of this aspect at the moment. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Altre domande?
Ci sono.
Qui ancora, prego. L'ultima, perché poi dobbiamo...
So I see that reversing aging is not yet a generally available procedure, probably, as you said. But I see in your organization website that there are other diseases, like, for example, fibromyalgia, which are, maybe it's more available as a treatment. I don't know, I'm just curious.
You will see a lot of things that we are doing. If you will start to read our articles, you will see a lot of things about repressed memory, etc., etc. But I will say, this is not the topic at the moment. I will say one word about fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia, for those who don't understand it, it's a chronic pain syndrome. The patient is suffering from pain all over the body, but we don't find anything. Meaning, there is a pain over here, for example, I touch in it, I evaluate it, I don't see any problem in the location where we feel the pain. Today we understand I will stand because I know that you don't see me. Today we understand that the problem in fibromyalgia, it's not where you feel the pain. It's actually in the brain where the pain interpretation is being done. And in the study we have done in fibromyalgia, we were able to map the brain location that are responsible for the pain sensation. And the trigger for the damage of this brain region can be mechanical injury to the brain, the so-called traumatic brain injury. It can be several infections that will involve this part of area of the brain. And it can also be a severe emotional stress. And I will not get into details, but today we know that severe emotional stress can cause wounds in the brain that are a lot less and even more severe than mechanical injury. So when you see over there fibromyalgia, today we understand that the problem is in the brain. And I will stop over here because we will speak too much, okay?
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Bene, io vi ringrazio molto dell'attenzione. C'è ancora una domanda? Veloce. Andiamo. Questa è veramente l'ultima, però.
Volevo chiedere se a qualcuno venisse in mente, accorgendosi che il suo cervello sta invecchiando un po' troppo, a una certa età, di venire a Tel Aviv a fare questa terapia iperbarica, posto che sia possibile, quanto può costare mediamente 3 mesi, per 2 ore, per 3 mesi, l'utilizzo della camera iperbarica con tutto il resto? Se ancora cioè se questa pratica c'è già o è solo sperimentale o cosa pensate?
Guardi, questo posso risponderle io perché proprio ne parlavamo prima. Per il momento questo tipo di terapia si può fare solo a Tel Aviv, bisogna stare 3 mesi e andare tutti i giorni, quindi sicuramente non è una terapia proponibile oggi a un vasto pubblico che non abbia o una urgente necessità e quindi quello diventa più importante di tutto, oppure dei mezzi economici che consentono questo tipo di cosa. Comunque il professor Shai e anche il dottor Sagol stanno cercando di esportare questa in vari paesi e creando dei contatti con centri universitari, ospedali, eccetera, per poterla portare. Loro per il momento lavorano con una no profit ospedaliera, quindi non è un'attività commerciale in questo momento, stanno cercando di trovare il modo di portarla in tutto il mondo. E quindi non so se Shai vuole dire qualcos'altro, ma credo che lo stato della situazione sia questo. Io vi avevo avvertiti all'inizio che questa è una cosa estremamente innovativa, quindi vi diamo l'informazione. Anche a me piacerebbe farla, sinceramente. Invecchio anch'io, ho problemi di memoria e mi piacerebbe tanto andare a farla. Non mi posso permettere di stare 3 mesi a Tel Aviv. Forse in futuro arriverà in Italia o forse sarò più libera e riuscirò ad andare a farla. Spero con questa conferenza di essermi guadagnato un ticket d'ingresso.
Io vorrei ringraziare e fare un particolare elogio a Viviana Kasam, che ho conosciuto circa una decina di anni fa come una neofita, e ora direi che è assolutamente una persona che io a cui darei la professorship, in sostanza full professor emerito almeno. Grazie Viviana. Grazie a noi.
Grazie a tutti voi. E un grazie soprattutto al festival che ci ospita e che io con il quale voglio complimentarmi perché sono veramente straordinari. Voi siete fortunati a Genova di avere questa meravigliosa manifestazione e sono molto felice e onorata di essere qua.